Hey y'all, it's Lindsay the Fiber Seed. It is WIP Wednesday where I share what I've been working on, which are a bunch of things. So first up, this Friday, the March Colorway comes out. So let me share it with you. This is irises. So this is on sock, DK, and worsted. And here's what it looks like in a cake. And all those little speckles. And then on the knitted swatch, it's upside down. The knitted swatch is in DK weight. And then the, no, that's wrong. So anyway, this is the crochet swatch. So you can see that it changes as you change your stitch height. So there's doubles, half doubles, and single crochets. And so anyway, this reminds me of Van Gogh's irises. And you might be like, they were more tame. And actually, surprisingly, they were much brighter before time did its thing to the painting. So it's a nice spring color. These, their bearded irises pop up. That's my up here in Ohio around now. It's kind of like a remembrance of like, hey, spring's coming. So I always look for those. And this is what this color reminds me of. So that is coming out this Friday. Super excited at noon. Okay. What else? I made swatches, of course, right? So a lot of you ask, what's this look like? And you're talking about Hummingbird when you're at the show. And I'm like, ha, funny, I don't have a swatch for that one. I made a swatch. There's the knitted one. Here's the crocheted one. See? So now when you ask me about Hummingbird, some people call it watermelon. There's another one, I can't remember what another thing that this brings to mind. Anyway, watermelon, tourmaline. This is Hummingbird. So now if you ask me, I have swatches. That's another thing I got. Oh, I got something else done. This is WIP Wednesday, right? These are things that are finished. Let's just keep going. I finished the baby blanket. I made this up on the fly, so there's no pattern to this. I used Trailhead and Sprout DK. Ready? And there it is. So I finished that, and here's the WIP part of it. I had leftover, you know, because I didn't play Yarn Chicken. How about that? Did not play Yarn Chicken, which means I had leftover, which means I am going to make a cute little Beloved Bonnet. I basically call it a little aviator hat. It's by TinCanKnits. See? But I make these little strings short because I don't really, it's more of a cute photo prop or just plop it on their head. But anyway, I'm going to make the baby version of it for Bo. So I've got that in my Cottontail Farms bag. Anyway, then I was putting away my swatch yarn yesterday or the day before that, and I realized that my DK bin was getting full of cakes. And I had this idea of, why don't I make the kids socks for each colorway that they've made? I know. But it's in DK weight yarn. I do need to weigh Reese's to find out what the finished amount of that is and make sure that they still fit him. I might have to make it a little bit bigger, so bigger estimation. I'm going to probably have to throw a mini or two if his feet have grown to get his to work with the fact that I've made swatches with the cake. So anyway, what I'm going to do for Penelope is, this is a lot of yarn, is make some tropical candy socks, some pink and purple balloon socks, some cotton candy land socks. They're different, see? Dream Flower is up there somewhere. So I have to add that to the list. And then Garden of Friends. And then for Reese, I have made him socks in the past out of his colorways. So I only have a few to catch up on. So Volcano, Mr. Tentacles, and the Zoo. So I know that's just right here. That's 7, and I said 8 because I need to find one. We're going to get it done. No, I do have a pattern for it. I use the community socks, and I kind of altered it to work for both of them. So I just need to measure their foot length to make sure that it is either within range of what I wrote down like just a couple months ago because their feet grow. Or basically I wrote down my gauge. See, I'm smart sometimes. And then adjust the length that I need to work on it for that. So that's going to be my ongoing project, which I'm excited about. And then I can share another thing I started, because I started a bunch of things because I finished the blanket, right? Okay, so for my crochet jacket cardigan, we got to pick one of these names because I keep using a whole bunch of things. I'm using this square. I went with number 1. I'm going to do 4 of those. I think I'm going to do a big one on the back. I may do either 1 or 2. We're going to see how big these squares get on the front. So I'm either going to do 1 or 2 on my sleeve, or I'm just going to take my main color, which is the avocado one, and just go down the sleeve. What am I talking about? So here's how far I've gotten. I've gotten that far. So here's the first of it. So I had Penelope help me figure out. I'm using Yarn Over Floyd's Super Bulky. And so I'm using this first, which is Matter. I think this is Goldenrod. It might be Marigold. I didn't look at these before I did that, and I never shoved them in the little ball bands, and I did. So this is Goldenrod. My guessing was right. And then from there, so basically each round, and I'm going to have 5 instead of the 4, so each section here, round is going to be that different color. So the center will be this, then the yellow. Then we're going to go with some of the purple color here, which I think was called Girl Dad. And then, so that'd be that third color. And then we're going to go with the walnut. I really hope I'm remembering this right. Bad job on me. Maybe. Yes. Walnut. And then the avocado at the end. And that's what I'll use to join all of the stuff together. And I've got 4 balls of that. So I should be able to make this happen and do the sleeves, even if I decide to do just the sleeves and the avocado. So that's what I'm working on with that. Got an Allegheny fiber art bag that's in. It's got unicorns on it. And I'm using a Northeast Fiberworks. Woodworks. Why did I say Fiberworks? Woodworks hook. Ta-da! It's K. And it's hot pink. Anyway. So that is what I'm doing with that one. I just started it. So that's why I have the first round. I worked a little bit more on Jordan's Southwood by the Galt House Yarn of Galt. Oh, for Pete's sake. Galt House of Yarn. It is a morning, y'all. It's been raining for 2 days and it's supposed to rain for another 3. Spring. Anyway, Southwood by Galt House of Yarn. I'm using Sprout Worsted in Bering Sea. A little bit further. The majority of our drive down to Scenic Stitches was me finishing that blanket, so I got to work on some other stuff, but not much as I did to finish the blanket. So there's that. What else am I getting myself into? Well, it is National Crochet Month, if you did not know. That's not why I started doing all these crochet projects, but it just worked out that way. So I'm going to turn my bunny trail into a Confetti DK sweater, which is basically like a granny square, but in single crochets, but granny square rows, if that makes sense. Kind of like that. Anyway, I'll show you a picture when I print out the pattern. But this is what I'm using. Super excited about that. I think that's all that I worked on with now. Oh, now I get to tell you what fiber finds I got at Scenic Stitches. Scenic Stitches was so much fun. I got to see a bunch of people that I love to see, and then I also got to see meet new people and new vendors. So first up, let's see, where am I going to start? Next to, well, behind me was a in the row behind me there was a the Divine Purity Apothecary or apothecary. There we go. And we got soaps and things like that from them. It smells amazing. Like we pulled everything into the booth to get it ready. I'm like, oh my goodness, it smells awesome. Totally that booth. And then across from us was where I always get myself in trouble when I see them at Shenandoah, but they were across from me here at Scenic Stitches. It was Loose Leaf Tico. So we got a bunch of teas and little disposable on-the-go tea bags. So I can pour the stuff. It's really fun. Anyway, but I got that. What else? I have a bag. So I went to Daughters of the Red Sunset and I got an eco-printed silk wrap. Look how gorgeous this is. And totally got to use it the day I bought it to feel fancy, to go out on a dinner date with Mr. Fiberseed. And we got to sit outside because it was warm-ish. I mean, it was warm, but the breeze made it just nice enough to have to wear my silk wrap. So did that, got an eco print. It's the original print. It's not a, yeah. Anyway, that's going to go on my wall of fun art stuff. And then I got another scrunchie for Penelope, but I also got one for myself. And I'm going to let her pick which one she wants because she's already got a red one. And these are naturally dyed, so that was fun. And then I got some hot chocolate, herbal hot chocolate, so that's fun. And then what else did I get? Okay, at Yarn Over Floyd, I know I'm moving my face. At Yarn Over Floyd, I got these fun little Easter minis. So I'm going to make little fun things out of that. Sock weight. So 87 yards. So I'm going to make something with that. And then I stopped at Leading Men Fiber Arts and got myself one of those Lumos neck lights. I know. I got a neck light. But that means I get to sit on the couch with everybody when I'm knitting on stuff that is not super light, because we don't have like lamps by the couch. They're over by chairs that are not by the couch. And being in the same room with your family is not the same thing as sitting with them. So I got this so that if I was not able to like swap out projects to work on something I can see in the not as lit area, that I can wear this. And then I got some whistles for the kids. I know. Why did I do that to myself? They can play with them outside. Anyway, this one's got this cool ring, which in woodworking, that's pretty fantastic to be able to do that. Do I have the card for that? No, and I don't know where it went. Oh, I forgot. I got some seeds from Daughters of the Red Sunset as well. They're Black Knight pincushions, and they can make some pretty cool blue dye. So I'm going to have fun with growing those this year in the garden and then having fun. I like to do fun eco dyeing with the kids in the summer. So we'll take my tick seed and madder and now these, and I've got some woad. And so we get to play with them and do solo dyeing. So they really enjoy that. And I get a lot of sun in the front of my house. So it's perfect for that in the summer. And then I stopped at Brick House Fiber Arts and got myself some of those hexagonal needles. And they spin on the cable. Look at that. You can't really see because it's, anyway, they're hexagonal. Trust me. And these are size 6. I figured I'd do a lot of swatches. And because these move independent of the cable, it'd be really quick to work with. These are the average Joes. So there's different styles, I think. There are different styles, so you can get them where the needles are the same length. There's sock ones that are 9 inches that are different lengths, so it makes it easier for you to work off of. So super cool. And I think that was my fiber finds. It was. Check that out. Anyway, so that's what I've got going on this week. We have a huge restock to get ready for Carolina Fiber Fest, which is not this week. It is next Friday and Saturday. That's right. I said Friday and Saturday. Most 2-day Fiber Fests are on Saturday, Sunday. This one is Friday and Saturday. So that's in Raleigh, North Carolina at the State Fairgrounds. And I'm super excited. And we are going to have the Easter colorway there and some other stuff. So you're going to have to come and see. And we're going to be in a new building. So check out the Carolina Fiber Fest website because we are going to be on the grounds in a different building. We're still going to be somewhat in the same area when you walk in, kind of like how you find us there. We're still going to be in that same general concept of a vicinity when you walk into the entrance, and we're over to the left. So there you go. Anyway, super excited about this week. There's a lot to do. Yeah, but until next time though, happy crafting.